Straps. The best and sometimes the cheapest way to reignite the passion or that lost love for some of those watches that don't seem to get the wrist time anymore. I personally have a big cigar box full of straps that I may have purchased at one time or have been sent to me that I cycle through every single time a new watch comes in. Depending how you look at it, my watch collection is more on the upper budget to mid-price category. So when I do decide to buy a strap, I wouldn't spend more than 10 or 20 or best case scenario $30 on it. Which brings me to my next question. How much would you be willing to pay for a premium strap? Well, luckily, Artem Straps have sent in some straps for me to try out and play around, and maybe or hopefully we can answer that question. So in the interest of keeping this video a relatively digestible length, I will keep the intro very short. Artem Straps are a sailcloth watch strap company based in Sydney, Australia that produce premium sailcloth watch straps. There are links down below if you want to check them out, and also there are plenty of videos on YouTube and plenty of reviews and plenty of articles online where you can check them out. Now that that's out of the way, let's address the following questions. How do you review watch straps, and also what do you look at when you buy a watch strap? I mean, let's face it, quality is definitely a solid factor, but apart from that, 70% of the time when you buy a strap, you buy it based on looks. So the looks department on these better be very good. Now, I won't give them scores or anything, but in this case, given the price, we'll have a look at the compatibility with most watches. Unfair? Maybe, but when you're paying $70+ for a strap, and that bad boy be looking very good on most of my watches. I don't care. Again, unfair, I don't care. Get your own video. And on that, just a bit of a disclaimer, they actually do look good on pretty much most watches and all watches that I've tried them on. Let's have a proper look at the lineup, have an analysis, and then throw them on some watches and do some artistic shots, because let's face it, who doesn't like those? Let's get into it. Now, as this is not already obvious, they're all proper sailcloth material and none of that cheap stuff that you can see on Amazon for $15 or $20. You actually can take these swimming, and when you're coming out of the water, they would still look better than a hair shampoo model from a Head and Shoulders ad. Weird comparison? Yes, of course. In this case, I think this is one of the main differentiating factors. The material is very durable and it achieves that while still being very flexible and soft out of the box. So on top, you have an actual sailcloth material, which by the way is a word that you'll hear many times throughout this video. And underneath you have this synthetic leather style, but not a leather, which is also waterproof. So compared to the cheaper versions, those actually have fake leather underneath, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of a sailcloth strap. And all Artem straps have this combination of material. Now, if you go back to our lineup here, you see that I have 3 different buckles on my selection. So we'll start with the green one. This is the loopless khaki green sailcloth with green stitching. This standard costs $133, and you can buy this with a deploying clasp or without. Now, before I tell you the price of the clasp alone, I do want to point out that you can use this with your own clasp that will fit on, if you happen to have around, on your Omega or something that uses the same style of strap and clasp. Price of the clasp now, it's an additional $68 on top. Now, this might sound a bit dear, but if you're lucky to be one of those people that own one of the earlier mentioned watches like the Omega, all of a sudden this starts to make sense. The thing is that the clasp works really well with the strap. It's very easy to adjust and to use, and actually it genuinely looks good, in case I didn't mention that. If you move on to the next one, I have the black one in the lineup. Again, we have a different style deploying clasp that is tension operated. The cool thing about this is that the only thing you need to do is adjust it once, and then that's it. It'll stay on the wrist and it won't fall off because it's tension operated. This clasp alone costs an additional $73 on top of the original price of the strap, which again isn't cheap at all, but I do think that this clasp will massively reduce the wear and tear on the strap in the long run. You only need to adjust it once, like I was saying, and you need to flip it in place, and you don't have to worry. Now, between the two shown, I do think this is the best bang for buck for a premium strap in this scenario. I know it's a bit controversial. I just think that the construction and the thought behind the idea justifies the price a bit more. Now, if you're not looking to spend that much, you can always opt for the standard one, which costs $85 with the standard buckle. You can get the same robust, long-lasting material with the same super water-resistant benefits, but we don't have to pay the additional price for the fancy buckles. Also, when purchasing on the website, Artem straps do give you the option to choose the size that you prefer. In my case, I do think that the black and the blue are on the smaller side, because if you have a closer look in the video, I don't have too much material to play around with. But then again, this is not a complaint. The straps are top-notch quality. That was just, I would say, a misalignment, or I'm not compatible with that particular size. So to round it up, guys, I do think that the only way to appreciate how good these straps are is to actually try them out and have them in your hand to actually feel the quality of the material used. If you have watches that cost upwards of $2,000 to $3,000, I don't think spending $160 or so on a strap would make much of a difference. Now, if you're on the budget side, I think this is where you might have to separate a little bit from the pack, because if you have more than one watch, you really can't afford to spend this much money for all the watches for more straps. And let's face it, it wouldn't make any sense. I mean, sure, you can get the basic one with the basic clasp and still get the benefits of the material they use without the fancy clasp. But apart from that, I can't really understand why you would do that from all your budget watches. I have watches in my collection that cost as much as one strap with the buckle, and personally, I don't think that makes any sense. These are clearly aimed at the higher end of the watch collecting world, and I do believe that for that crowd, they do make a very good deal. Now, that was it for me, guys. That was my review of Artem watch straps. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about Artem straps. If you have them, would you consider purchasing them? And I really want to hear your thoughts. Thank you very, very much for watching so far. Click a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't so. It really helps me out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.